Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, I am Asaph Adonai, your host, and welcome to Asaph Cafe. And we've been on a little hiatus for a while, for like a month,
yes.
because of the summer camp, and that's over. And today is August 1st, so
Yes.
August 1st is a perfect time to pick up where we left off. And so our special guest for this version of Asaph Cafe, young Baker Morgan.
Hello.
And he's connected with MCAT, and we'll be talking to him in a little bit. And then further on my left, affectionately, our aging rocker, Emmett. Emmett, you want to start us off?
Yes, Heavenly Father, bless our soda pop and our time together in this show in Jesus' name.
Thank you. All right. We always pray.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't maybe go to church or something, but
yeah.
that's just a little tradition, Emmett and I
Oh
do.
yeah, both Christians.
So we're not here to insult anyone's belief. But anyway, huh?
I'm Christian too.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Emmett and I always do that.
I'm Roman Catholic. Yep.
So, all right, young man. So, how long have you been associated with this MCAT studio?
I think I started in 4th grade and I'm going into 8th grade, so I think about 4 years. I started with the Saturday drop-ins originally, and then I have been going to the summer camps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, were you in this last camp here?
Yes, I was in the July one, not the zombie camp that happened recently. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
So, well, congratulations to you. So,
Thank you.
what are your plans? You want to learn how to make movies and television shows and filming and stuff like that?
Yeah, I have a little stop motion channel. It's mainly about myths, but yeah.
Yeah, because I think
Myths?
that would be the kind of stuff you want to do.
Oh,
would
you mean like
probably-
legends, like the Greek god myths? That
Exactly,
kind of thing. I see.
yeah.
Interesting.
So you would probably be doing stuff catering to people more your age than, the more current
Kinda, yeah.
characters and filming and things like that. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And you're in 8th grade now?
I'm going into 8th grade.
Going
yes.
into 8th grade. Okay, good for you. Now, you realize your family will see this
Uh-huh.
episode that you're on right now. And
Yeah.
let's talk to you. So, Mr. and Mrs. Morgan, I am Asaph. This is Emmett. And your son is on this show today. And this is just a show where I play the piano and we talk to people. Sometimes Emmett and I do one-on-ones. And
Oh, yeah,
we
I've
talk,
done a
and
ton of
sometimes we'll
those.
have a guest. And I'm approaching my 5th year doing this show. And I never change the format. It's just easy listening piano music, sometimes classical music, and our guest. And this is interesting because with you being younger, we can reach a younger audience too, and just talk to you about your interests and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, are you from Missoula?
Yes, I am.
Good,
Yes.
good. And yeah, it's just allergies. How do you like it here in Missoula?
It's pretty nice, yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
good for you. And I guess you realize your friends from school might see this too, once
Maybe,
this
yeah.
airs, because it'll also not only air on television, but it'll be on Facebook
Oh.
and YouTube too. So
Yeah.
you can always download it or highlight the link and
Yeah.
spread the word that you're on Asaph Cafe with two old fuddy
Oh
duddies,
yes. I'm
myself
51.
and Emmett. Yeah, I'll be 61 here in a few months from now. So
Cool.
you're hanging out with the old folks. There's an old famous song about old people. If that melody comes to me, I'll play it. It's something about the old folks' home or something.
Well, I remember in high school when I was taking Prep for Life, they did a video on aging, what it's like to be old. And there was a song, something about old is something or another. Old is always feeling cold.
Yeah.
Old is bingo on a Sunday. Thank the good Lord, I'm not old. And everyone was out of class was singing that song. But it was funny. It was a very interesting thing about aging.
Yeah.
But I'm getting up there. I'm 51 and a half.
Yeah.
Do you realize that in 8.5 years? No. Yeah, I'll be 60 in
this
8.5 years.
When this young man grows up and he turns like 20 or 21,
Yeah.
you and I will probably be retired by then.
Yes.
So, in the meantime, I'm going to play a song for you and tell me if you know this song here.
Yes. Yes, I do. I know it's.
It's one of those inspirations.
Yeah, see if you can name it.
Yeah, I heard it in Madagascar.
You mean the cartoon movie Madagascar?
Yeah, near the end of it. Yeah.
I didn't know they played this on it.
No, yeah, they did. Yeah.
That's the short version.
My tongue.
Anyway, that's Chariots of Fire.
Oh.
That's from the movie. Life story of Eric Little, the Olympic champion of the past. He went on to become a missionary, I think, in real life. But he was probably one of the fastest runners in Olympic history. I mean, he was like the $6 million man. You probably won't know that character.
Yeah. Well, and
That
I
was
also.
an old television show from the past.
Yeah, I think my grandparents talked about he was sort of like the Bionic Man.
Yeah, the actor was Lee Majors, and his character. This is funny because I did a story on that show a few years ago. I used to do another show called Wake Up Missoula. It was different than the documentary stories I told you about a while ago. But anyway, Lee Majors plays Colonel Steve Austin in the series, and this was back in probably 1972. You weren't even a dot in your mama's eye. But anyway, he's an astronaut, and they were doing this test where they had this little tiny plane under the B-52 plane, and when it separates like this, and he would fly off, and something went wrong with the controls on the flight, and he crashes going about 200 miles an hour to the ground. Now that's based on a true story. That actually happened to a pilot in real life. But of course, when he lost his arm and so on, he didn't have bionic parts.
No.
But since this was a television show, they turned it science fiction. But it was actually based on a pilot that crashed for real. And anyway, Colonel Austin is on the verge of death, and so they had the technology to rebuild him. They gave him 2 bionic legs and his right arm and his right eye, which could see 20 times normal than a regular person's eyesight.
Wow.
And in the original movie, there was a movie before the series started. And in the movie, he rejected his bionic parts. He didn't want no part of it. See, he was already unconscious, and they put the bionic parts on him before he woke up. And then they told him that he was a mechanical man, half mechanical, and he was like freaking out. I don't want this stupid arm. Get it off of me. And so they had to kind of use psychology and get him to accept his new parts. And then they told him he was going to be stronger and faster than he was originally. And so when he starts to accept his parts and accept his situation, they put him to work for the OSI organization, and he starts catching bad guys, and you know, it was just your old-fashioned thriller as far as good guy working for this organization with his bionic parts. And of course, nobody knew he was bionic. So that's kind of the synopsis of the $6 Million Man. It was one of the most popular science fiction shows of the early 70s at that time. And then it was so popular, it spawned another series, The Bionic Woman. I don't know if you ever saw that. Well, her character's name was Jamie Summers. And she, instead of being in a plane crash like Colonel Austin, she was a parachutist. And her parachute didn't open, so she plunged to the ground, and she went through the same thing that Colonel Austin went through. She had her legs, and in her case, instead of her eye, it was her hearing. So she could hear incredibly far. So when the OSI organization put her to work, she could hear like, a whole half a state away. And she'd be eavesdropping on these bad guys' conversation. They're going to try to take over something. And eventually, she and Colonel Steve Austin teamed up in one of the Bionic series. They had like a bunch of series based on. That's how popular it was.
Cool, yeah.
I never cared for either of them. I just thought, I know the kids all loved them. I didn't. They thought it was cool.
It was groundbreaking in its time.
Yeah, I was bored by it. It didn't have lasers or spaceships or aliens or starships.
But
so I was bored.
It was still considered science fiction, though.
I never considered it science fiction. I considered it a crime drama with a cyborg, who solves crime in his spare time. But I did not consider. To me, science fiction is lasers and spaceships. And
I understand, but I mean,
according
according to television history, they put it into the science fiction category. You're sitting next to Scrooge. You'll get used to it.
Oh, yeah.
He's a lovable Scrooge.
Yeah.
We all love him here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to you here. You already identified the first song I played. Let me play another song and I'll ask you some more questions.
I was
Tell me
born
if
in
you know this
Tucson,
one.
Arizona, by the way, and then I moved to Lewiston, then here. So
Yeah.
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 We'll talk more about Emmett in a second too. Tell me if you know this song here. You recognize it?
I think it's by Beethoven.
You're not even close.
Who? No. I've heard it before, I just don't know what it is.
I'm gonna stop right there. It's called Painted Black by the Rolling Stones.
Oh.
You
I
recognize
never
it now?
cared for the Rolling Stones either.
I personally like the classical rock, like AC/DC, the Beatles.
Yeah, I don't like the Beatles, though they're beautiful for easy listening. Easy listening covers of the Beatles are gorgeous, but I don't care for the Beatles, but AC/DC's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love Metallica.
Well, he's a rocker too, so. But that was called Painted Black by the Stones. That's a short version.
Yeah,
of
wait a
that
minute.
Stone.
Painted Black. Something about my heart turns black. It was played on a very grim movie, which
Well,
isn't
they
even-
might have, but originally it wasn't written for that. It was.
Yeah,
it
Full
was-
Metal Jacket. It was the on the ending.
I
of
mean,
Full Metal
before that, I
Jacket.
mean,
Well,
when Mick Jagger first introduced that, he
Yeah.
introduced it on the Ed Sullivan show, if I remember. It had nothing to do with
the
Vietnam
Vietnam, interesting.
movie. They just, it's like, sometimes they'll do a song and it becomes popular, and eventually they'll put that song onto a television show
Yeah.
or a movie. And that's what happened with this Painted Black.
That was also the same with Chariots of Fire. Guess what movie
Yeah.
that was in?
What?
That was in National Lampoon's Vacation.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
that's the
I
movie.
I love
Oh,
that.
that is so funny. When I saw
Oh,
that first
yeah.
in the theater, I was crying so hard, tears were coming out of my eyes.
You
I thought
talking
I was
about the
gonna
original
die.
Vacation that Chevy
Yes,
Chase?
that was
Oh, yes.
beyond. You know, when they take to Wally World.
Oh, it is closed.
Oh.
It's just
It was so
good.
funny. It was hilarious after all that hell. Heck, it was hilarious. I can't believe how funny they made the. It was too funny for me.
Yeah, I have to admit it was amusing. I found it amusing. I didn't care for the other
They
vacation movies.
I know.
Blew it out.
Actually, I did not like European Vacation. It bored me.
I never saw that, and
It
after
bored me.
and I looked at a little bit of the Christmas one.
I love the Christmas
I
one.
love-
That was hilarious.
I love it with the turkey, the
Oh, yeah.
gas, and
Yeah,
the
the-
cat who gets
Oh, that
fried.
hilarious! I also liked Vegas Vacation. That was
Never
funny
saw
too.
that one.
Oh,
that
they
was
did a Vegas?
hilarious.
I didn't see that one. I didn't know they had a Vegas.
I
So
didn't know they
did
had-
four.
Yes,
four
they
of those?
did. Vegas
Okay.
Vacation, you got to see, it was hilarious. They went to Vegas, and it was a disaster. The funniest scene where they finally ended up so broke. I don't want to give any endings away.
Oh, these are old movies. I think.
Well,
everybody's
Chevy
seen
Chase's
them.
character
Yeah.
had to go to a $1.49 buffet where that redneck ate, when it was like this cheapest buffet in the world. They were playing the theme, some easy listening in the restaurant, Bolero, and there's best $1.49 buffet, No, wait, this isn't chicken. This is chicken. They were advertising, want some? And it was this slop. And it was like, then Eddie said, oh, the bread pudding is extra runny tonight. I mean, it was hilarious. A $1.49 buffet. What are you going to get for a buck? Oh, it was
Well,
hilarious.
Actually, well, I don't know if they do it now, but I used to play in Vegas for real about 30 years ago,
Mhm.
and they had this thing where if you lost a lot of money in
Yeah.
the hotels or the
Yeah.
casinos, they would actually feed you for like under $2.
Oh, that's
In
good.
Vegas at that time, they had like these little cafe restaurants
Oh,
on the main
yep.
strip at that time.
Uh-huh.
That it was courtesy almost.
That's
like
good.
$2, to make people feel better for losing their money.
That's good.
They feed you and then tell you get out.
Yeah.
I went to Vegas once. I don't care much for big
Nor do I. I
Well,
hate big
you know,
cities.
Vegas is probably totally different today in 2019 than it was when I used to play there.
Yeah, well, there's so much crime and violence. I flew through Vegas. They even had gambling machines at the airport. That's the only thing I did. I got a paper and I got a postcard. I'll admit it's beautiful at night when you see the plane going, but I would not want to live in Vegas or any big city.
Well, you know, if I did play in Vegas again, I would live on the outskirts like Hendersonville or, some of those
sort
cities.
Of near Red Rock or just sort of
just
outward the
close.
desert.
Yeah, like I'd live out in the desert section of a small city and just drive into Vegas.
Yeah.
But see, Vegas was different when I played there. Oh gosh, this must have even been more than 30 years ago, more closer to 40 years ago, because they had casinos and hotels then that are gone now.
Yeah.
I have two friends that used to play at the Aladdin. That's gone.
Oh, the Aladdin's gone.
Vegas World is gone now.
Yeah.
That was a very popular casino at the time. There was no Caesar's Palace back then.
Yeah.
Because see, it's changed now. It's more. It used to have this. Well, you probably won't know Frank Sinatra, but it had this Frank Sinatra image. You know, I don't want to say the word gangster, but that's the way Vegas used to be. It was like
a little bit more rough. And
I'm sure it's even worse. I'm sure it's even worse
and then they
now.
changed the image probably, I'd say about 20 years ago by now.
Yeah.
Where it was more like Disneyland in a sense.
Yeah.
They used to have roller coasters literally that would ride on the outside of some of the hotels, and you'd be like way up looking down.
I don't like heights.
Oh, I hate heights. I'm so scared of heights that you can't even get me up.
That idea didn't really work in Vegas, so they kind of went back. They didn't go quite back to the old way. It's kind of like in the middle between the way it was in the old days and the modern.
So it's very commercialized.
Yeah, it's commercialized. Yeah, it just. Back in the day, it was like you just gambled, and the wives probably would go watch Liberace. You won't know him; he was a famous pianist of the past, and it just had that rough, raw, gritty Vegas. But it's changed now. And of course, with the technology we have now, they probably have a lot of computers and all that and the high tech stuff, but the entertainment is still top notch.
Oh yeah,
as it's always been.
I saw a documentary on gambling in Vegas, and some high rollers will just pay for the entertainment. They'll lose their money, but they pay to go to the shows. Who was that? Who was those actors? One of them died, not an actor, but there was not a circus, but there were two performers who worked with animals. It was very famous in Vegas.
Oh yeah,
one of them died. I think was killed by a tiger or something.
Circus. It used to be at the Circus. I'm talking about the casino itself. Oh God, their names are on the tip of my tongue. They did this animal
Singfeld and Roy or something like that.
Yeah, Siegfried and Roy. I think
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
And they used to have tigers on, on their show.
Yes.
Live tigers. Can you imagine you're sitting there in the audience eating your lunch or supper, and you see these big, huge cats on stage.
Yeah. That was also in Vegas
one of those
Vacation.
Cats leaped out in the audience, Rah!
Yeah, that was in Vegas Vacation. The whole family went to go see them the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were instantly attacked by the time.
No, unfortunately not. I think they got some sort of thing messed up with the magic act, and they couldn't. I think Chevy Chase couldn't figure it out or something.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Well, that with the vacation movies, they're going to add things like that, but it always makes you wonder. And there was a famous comedian from the past. You probably won't know him. His name was Gallagher.
Oh, it was hilarious. I love
And
Gallagher.
he was funny because, when he did his shows in Vegas, they would literally cover the people in the front few rows with plastic covering, because he had a skit called Vegematic.
Sledge-o-matic,
where he would take fruits like watermelon and stuff, and he would smash it on stage, and people would get drenched with watermelon.
It was the ultimate kitchen device. It's better than a spoon. It's better than a hand.
Yeah, he would do like this commercial.
So if you want wine, you've got wine.
Yeah,
Do you want a beer?
and he would smash these big giant watermelons, and people would get soaked, and he'd be squishing fruits and all this other stuff, and you would just walk out of there with watermelon all over you, like,
it's a
what
bottle
just
opener.
happened?
Do you want a bottle? Doesn't have to be so easy. I was gonna die laughing.
It would be a sledge-o-matic, a bottle opener, and he would just like he's like the first 2 rows of everybody in his audience is where he gets soaked.
Yeah.
He had to go home and take a shower
It
and
was
get that water.
hilarious.
But it was funny, his routines though.
I wonder if
you
he's
know.
even still alive anymore.
He's probably retired. You know, we're talking a long time ago. Okay, let's get current here. Let's
Oh,
talk
one
about
other
some
fear I
things.
do have before we... I hate water. I'm afraid of water. I hate swimming. I'm not a good swimmer. I know how to swim, but I'm not a good swimmer. I hate water. I'm afraid of aquaphobia. Also, I have fear of open spaces, agoraphobia.
Okay, Baker, let's see. What kind of things do you like to do?
Read.
I love reading.
Very good.
Reading.
I got tons of books at home and magazines.
And what are your favorite movies? I'm sure you have favorite movies like.
Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do the theme to Darth Vader's March.
Imperial March.
It's been a while since I do, see if I can remember it.
I've got the soundtracks at home to Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, the original from the 80s. Yep, I love the Star Wars movies. But I want to say something. I mean, I love the Star Wars movies. I was raised on Star Wars. I adore them. I have the books. I'm a Star Wars fanatic. One of the biggest Star Wars fanatics you ever met. May I ask you what you guys thought or what you thought of Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and then the other one, I can't even remember what it was called.
Well,
I hated them. I despised those 7 and 8.
they were
The
so
Force.
unneeded. They were so unneeded.
Well, here's the problem. I mean, if you liked them, that's fine. My mother loved them. The problem is they were repeats. They were repeats of the old movies, and I was crazy.
Well, I didn't see all. I didn't see.
bigger Death Star.
Yeah.
Okay, Baker, did you see all of the Star Wars
All of them
movies?
up
Yes.
to date, except for the newest one, and I'm not sure.
Well, you know that was shot, I think, chronologically out of order because originally it was Star Wars, and then it was The Empire Strikes Back, and then The Return of the Jedi.
It
And then
was
when they made The Return
the
of the Sith and
original
all the
trilogy.
rest of them, they added, you know, like, it's hard to explain. Stuff that was not in the original 3
I know, like
were in these later Star Wars films to
Order 66. That was
to
mentioned,
add
and I feel
to add more to the story, and that's sort of
Yeah, and that's fine. But 7 and 8 were just repeats of the old movies in exactly.
so unneeded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
terrible. Now I'm wondering. I have some excellent books by Timothy Zahn and some other sequels from Number 6, Return of the Jedi, where the Republic was, you know, fledging to become the Republic again, and they were fighting remnants of the old Empire, like Admiral Thrawn. Why couldn't they have made a trilogy based on those 3 books and given Timothy Zahn the rights to enjoy? That would have been much better because they were great books. Or the Heir to the Empire trilogy, that was it. Or the Jedi Academy trilogy, where Luke Skywalker, his Jedi Academy was actually a great success, not a failure. But he was training young Jedi and training them very well, and boy, it was a great trilogy. The Jedi Academy trilogy. They could have done that. But no, I did love Solo. I loved Solo.
Solo was great.
And I loved the prequel. What was that? The prequel. It was the one about where the
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Thank you.
That was a good movie. Even
I
though they
loved
killed
it.
everyone at the end,
I loved Rogue One. I have both of them on DVD. But yeah, thing is, they weren't repeats of Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, or The Return of the Jedi. Why do they have to have another Darth Vader, another Emperor, another Jedi in training, going to the bar again to get a ship, and being tempted again by the dark side, and having another rebellion against another Empire and another Death Star with X-Wings? It's too much.
What they're doing is they're just taking, I mean, the original trilogy
Exactly.
was built off of the hero's journey, and I was fine with where it was. I enjoyed the prequels because it explained a lot of backstory and
Exactly.
explored things. I also loved Yoda.
Yes, I love the
Anywhere.
yeah.
And then in the new movies, it's like, you don't need to do this. You can do something different than the hero's journey. There's hundreds of other tropes that you can do.
Exactly. Well, it's just a repeat of the old movies from the 70s. They thought they could slap it on. We wouldn't know the difference. Yeah, we do. We know the difference, and we wanted another story. And geez, you know.
It's like, I can't believe they thought no.
Well, while you guys were talking, I played Emmett, one of Emmett's favorite
Thank
songs.
you so much. Yeah.
So I was listening. Now, I understand you can play the piano too. We're going to switch positions. I'm going to have you sit here and just mess around with this instrument.
No,
And,
I can just think around it like.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Before we do that, let me ask you a couple more questions.
Yes.
I hope you're having fun with us old
Yeah,
guys
it's
here.
kind of cool. Yeah.
And then, of course, anytime you want to be on this cafe, we tape it every Thursday. Now, let's talk about our backdrop here. Emmett and I have been doing, I showed you on that video, you know, we used to do like, have cafes in the background.
Yeah.
And how this whole thing started, you probably won't know him. There was a game show called The Gong Show about 40 years ago.
Oh wait, I think someone's here. Hold on.
Okay, well, I'll talk to him. Anyway, there was a show called The Gong Show, and it was like, you know those reality music shows?
Yeah.
Hold on. Joe, you want to come in? You can come in on the set if you like for a moment. Come on in.
Okay.
Hold that thought. I'll explain the rest of that.
Yeah, so you have that?
Yeah. We were just getting ready to talk to him.
Oh, nice.
Come on in, man. Come on in.
He loves to have people
Come on
on his
in.
show.
Come on in. Come on in. Have a seat.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
We're
Fine.
fine.
Thank you.
Have a seat.
Yeah, feel free.
Come on, ma'am. Have a seat.
What are you doing?
We are in the middle of a taping. I don't know if you recognize this actress here. This was Yvonne Craig. She was the actress that played Batgirl in the 1960s Batman with Adam West. This show is called Asaph Cafe. I just play the piano while people talk. I am Asaph, and you?
Michelle, glad to meet you, Asa.
Likewise, Michelle. Your last chance, ma'am. Would you like to have a quick
That's
seat?
okay, I'll watch.
I just
All
wanted
right. Well, anyway, our special guest is Baker Morgan. You can have a seat next to her.
Okay.
And Joe, you can stand next to
Oh, that's all right. I'll keep Mary Fran company.
All right.
You guys visit.
Well, anyway, you're welcome to visit with us. And we were just getting ready to talk about this show here. I don't know if you would know this show. There was a show in the 60s called Batman with an actor named Adam West.
Be on this show for an hour.
And this is like 40, 50 years ago, really old show. And this actress was the actress that played Batgirl in the series. Her name was Yvonne Craig. You probably won't know her. But I was just telling Baker here that when Emmett and I started this show, we used to put ourselves on the backdrop of cafes. And that just got dull.
I didn't think it did, but
So how we started doing this, like we put ourselves on shows like The Sound of Music with Julie Andrews, you know, in the background. We put ourselves on an old television show called I Dream of Jeannie. I don't know if you remember that show.
Well, I was born in 1946.
Okay, well that was a sitcom with an actress named Barbara Eden, and she
Right.
played this genie. And so Emmett and I actually put ourselves in her bottle. That was on the television
Wow.
show. And so how this started, I was just telling Baker here, there was a show called The Gong Show. You probably won't know that show. And they had a host, his name was
Hilarious.
Chuck Barris. And it was sort of like The Voice, but it was a comedy version of The Voice, where they would have college students and housewives and people just, even if they didn't have talent, they just get on the show and sing. And that's why it was so funny.
Wow.
And they had the actual movie stars of the past that would judge these people. And they had these big giant gongs in the background. So if they liked you, they'd give you points like The Voice. If they didn't like it, they would take this big Chinese gong and they'd go gong and they'd hit it. And this guy would take his hook and just take you off the stage, you know. It was comedy. But when he passed away, the host of the show, Emmett and I did a tribute. And we actually put ourselves on The Gong Show. That's how this whole thing started, with all these backdrops, and it worked. And it was so popular that Emmett and I just kept doing it. So
yeah,
we put ourselves on, let's see, The Rifleman with Chuck
yeah.
Connors. You remember that one?
vaguely.
That was an old Western.
Star Trek. I know we put ourselves on this.
We put ourselves on the bridge of the
Enterprise?
with the Next Generation, where Emmett was sitting in the captain's chair.
Yep.
You guys, when the new Star Wars movie comes out, you guys should put yourself in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we should. We'll probably
Yeah,
end up
we'll-
doing that.
Yeah.
So this is where the idea came for these backdrops. I mean, we've done all kind of movies and television shows. We put ourselves on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun.
You should put yourself on the Groucho Marx show and have the rubber duck.
You know, that's
come.
not a bad idea. I wouldn't even thought of Groucho Marx. I'll have to keep that in mind.
You know, in Missoula, they used to, on NPR, public radio, at the university, have a talk show round about midnight, and I'm a night person.
Yeah.
And Michael Fiedler and I used to talk on the radio.
Well, that's funny you
And,
mentioned
and I
that.
used to interview people, and you know, things are different at night than they are between 8 and 5.
Yeah. I'm going to give you this information here. I do a thing called Asaph Adonai Stories. They're like these mini documentary, like 3-4 minute documentary stories. And I was just telling young Baker about it. And I'm attempting to get a job with ABC News for real, telling these stories. And I don't get into people's personal lives, only their accomplishments, awards, and contributions. And it's fun. And if you go on YouTube and put Asaph Adonai Stories, you can see anyone. And I'm up to 63 stories now. And the story that I did just today, August 1st, do you remember Katie Jurado, the Mexican actress of the past? She was in the movie High Noon with Gary Cooper.
I think so.
The dark-haired lady, a really good-looking Mexican actress lady. Well, I did a story on her just today, which will be posted later on this afternoon. And I also did a story on Artie Johnson. I don't know if you would know him. He's the actor on Rowan and Martin's Laughing. Very interesting. He played
You're
this German...
looking at someone who doesn't think Saturday Night Live is funny, so I don't know.
I don't think it's funny at all. I'm not saying
Thank
Night
you.
Live. I mean,
I don't think it's funny at all
I
either.
think
I
it-
just can't see why it
I
has
just-
lasted so long.
Yeah.
well, actually, when I'm probably going to get booed for this, but when Saturday Night Live first came out, I thought it was genuinely funny.
Yeah.
They had the original Not Ready for Primetime players. And they didn't do all those political jokes back then.
No,
They just
yeah.
did
Change.
fun jokes. Like they make fun of the Hulk, you know, the Incredible Hulk. They made fun of TV shows, and it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little mental now.
And then, of course, Eddie Murphy came on in the second season, and it got even funnier.
Mhm.
You know, when he would make fun of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and,
That's hilarious.
you know, stuff like that. And they would always have that music.
And I hated Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, as a matter of fact.
Get out! No, I'm playing. They got a new movie based on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and it's going to do very well too at the box office.
Really?
The actor Tom Hanks plays Mr. Roger, and
Yeah.
he looks just
Yeah.
like
Really?
him
Wow.
too.
Yeah, we
And I
live-
saw the previews. You know, he'd take the shoe off.
Mhm.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Yeah.
I suppose Tom Hanks could bring life to.
Oh, Tom Hanks could do
Yeah.
anything.
I don't know technology.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even barely look at a cell phone.
Right.
I've never owned a car, but I've been into theater and dance and art.
I've never owned a car either.
Ah, two of a kind.
Yeah.
But hold on. Well, let's finish this. Let's get back to Saturday Night Live. I'm glad somebody besides me thinks that.
I
show's
can't
not
say
funny
that out
it
loud
isn't.
because people think
No, I
it's
can't.
great.
I'm the host of the show. Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live is not the Saturday Night Live it used to be.
I know.
I think it's just become a fixture on NBC. They're just running
Right,
film,
just
you
keep
know.
the water going,
Yeah.
turn the faucet on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's something about it's too studied or something.
Well, you know, their
Not
their
sure.
humor is more coarse now than it was. If you really watch it,
Mhm.
it has a lot of innuendos these days, and they're always picking on politicians and.
But here's the thing.
And it's
Do
just-
you ever feel your belly laughing?
No.
Not
No.
me.
No.
I don't think it's funny at all. I'm surprised it's lasted 40 years because
Yeah.
it's changed.
I don't know if you remember Dick Clark show.
Yes, I do. I do.
And I don't know. The thing is,
Would you like some soda?
oh, no, thank you.
Okay.
Remember old musicals like
Yeah.
Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers?
Yes,
and all
I
that?
do. Yes,
well,
I do.
I used to be in Missoula Theater, Children's Theater thing. I hate musicals because I'm a dancer, so I just want to dance.
Okay.
But I don't like
What kind of dance?
Julie Andrews, and I don't like any of that. And they always cast me as a whore at Missoula Children's Theater.
That's horrible.
They did. It's like, okay, you can be the saloon girl, or
Yeah.
But,
Stereotyped.
Yeah.
You just asked
Well,
Asaph.
What's that?
May I go back to working on my stop motion video real quick?
Sure, you can. Go
Thank you
ahead.
for
We're
having
still.
me.
Thanks for being
I
on.
appreciate it.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Have
I
a good
hope
day.
that
We're gonna make
with
you
all
a
the other-
copy of this.
With all the other
of
guests
this.
that you've kind of felt left out, I hope you didn't.
No, I'm okay.
Are you
Thank
sure?
you.
Hey,
Yes, I
it's
really
stay. I have to leave. You
Oh.
stay.
Okay.
But
You know what?
anyway,
A woman is waiting for me. So
okay.
I don't
Well,
want
thanks for taking your time to just
Oh, this
impromptu
is just
sit
wonderful.
in.
It's wonderful. And I love the way you tinkle the ivories.
And well, Emmett and I do the show every Thursday. If you ever want to do a full show, you're more than welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Now, tell me your name once again.
Michelle.
Michelle, it's glad to meet you.
Yeah.
And I'm Asaph, and this is Emmett.
Mhm.
And our special guest, young Baker, here.
Baker.
Thank you. Nice.
Have a
to
great
meet
day.
you. Yes.
You said what kind of dance?
Yeah.
Flamenco
I
in
gotta
West
rescue
Africa.
you. I guess Mary
That's
Fran wants
excellent.
to
Gotta
move
go.
on.
Thank
Okay,
you
it's
so
nice
much.
to meet you. Take care.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, we're winding down here. We only got about 10 minutes left.
I hope you didn't feel left out of a lot of
no,
other
no,
conversation.
no.
Thank you.
Well, anyway, getting back to, well, it's just funny she mentioned Saturday Night Live. Yeah, that show's lame. So.
Yeah,
It has been going downhill.
Yeah.
I haven't
but
watched
it's
it in
still-
years.
It's just not funny to me. Not anymore. But, let's see, I lost my train of thought. Was something I was... Oh, yeah. We were going to talk about this backdrop here. You probably never saw this actress, but she's also the same actress that played the Green Lady on the Star Trek episode with William Shatner.
I watched
Yeah, you
Star
probably
Trek.
don't know that.
Oh, I love Star Trek. You're in for a treat. You're in for a treat.
I
You're
mean, I
gonna love
watched
Star Trek.
the new remake movies, which
Yes.
are okay, I guess.
Right.
You've never seen the one with William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy?
Probably not. It's over 50 years
well,
old.
you're in for a treat. If you're ever gonna Google them up, you're in for a treat.
All right, young
Okay.
man, you can go and toy with the,
Stop motion. Thank you for having
well, the piano,
Oh,
if you want to play the
oh,
piano
the
real quick.
piano.
Well,
Oh, I'm
if you'd
sorry.
rather just do the stop motion
Do I
thing
want
too, you know.
No, I'll
If
just-
you'd
Well,
rather-
we got about 5 more minutes
Yeah, I'll
left
just finish up.
anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's let young Baker just mess around with the piano. Well, Emmett, this is cool sitting next to you on this
Oh,
show.
yes. Oh, you're gonna love the old Star Trek. Trust me. I'm
Yeah,
sure
if
it's
you
on
if
YouTube.
you ever get a chance to see it,
Yeah.
it was groundbreaking,
Yeah.
and it's relevant too. You know, even though it's 50 years old, it's still relevant. In fact, this might interest you. They had this episode on Star Trek of these beings that were half black on one side
Mm-hmm.
and half white on the other. So they had a line between their face. And they wiped out their whole civilization because some of the people were black on the left side and white on the right side. And they were prejudiced. Yeah, they were prejudiced against the ones that were white on their left side and black on the right side. So they wiped out their whole species, the whole planet, because of their racism. So that's what that was talking about.
Oh, yeah, that was a great episode.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
that's kind of heavy, actually.
yeah, yeah.
Well, a lot of them were. Some of them were more entertaining, but some of them were very heavy, and that's
Yeah,
why I
they had
loved
some
it.
really heavy topics on some of
And
the
that was
Star Trek
fantastic.
episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, M and I's personal favorite was the episode called The Doomsday Machine.
Yes.
That had a psychological effect because, see, this guy, the captain, he was this commander of a ship. And there was this mechanical device that looked like a giant cone that would destroy planets and then eat the planet's debris for fuel.
Uh-huh.
So as long as there were planetary bodies throughout the universe, this thing could destroy planets. And so when this Commodore and his ship went to investigate it, that thing destroyed his ship.
Oh,
And so after it destroyed his ship, he beams his crew down for
Yeah.
safety to one of the planets. And then the planet killer destroyed the planet where this Commodore's crew was at.
Ooh,
So that plunged him into a psychological, I got to kill this thing.
Yeah.
was it Captain Kirk or was it a different guy at the time?
No, it was a different Commodore. So when Captain Kirk goes to investigate it, they find him stranded on his ship with his crew dead. And so since he's a Commodore, he outranks Captain Kirk. So he takes control of Captain Kirk's ship to go after that thing that wiped out his crew. So that's the psychological aspect.
And
of
it
it.
had lasers and space.
Yeah, they had all kinds of lasers on there and stuff. So. But maybe one day you can watch it.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Oh, fascinating! Every time I see space, I go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, we're gonna sign out right here. You got any final words you want to say? You might as well just sit here and just make noise on the piano. You got any final words you want to say? You can look at that camera.
Bye
right
bye.
there. Say hi to your family.
Bye. Thank you for coming, and yeah.
Okay,
All
hold
right.
on. Before you disappear, let me sign out, and we'll just
All
shut
right.
down. I am Asaph Adonai. This is Asaph Cafe and our special guest, Baker Morgan. And thanks for sitting in with us, and thanks for playing some notes on the piano.
Yeah.
Have you got any final things you want to say before we sign out?
Well, but when I was about 15, you're going to be 14. When I was about 15 or 16, I started making surreal jokes about washing machines and dryers based on surrealism. This is the first joke I ever made up in high school. There were these two washing machines, and they saw a hat in their way. One said to the other, "Is that in your way?" And the other said, "No, it's in your way, and it's blocking my view." Isn't that hilarious?
I always tell him don't quit his day job. All right, guys. Well, we're going to sign out. So again, Baker, thank you. And before you disappear, I'm going to shut everything down, so just stay at the piano. Okay. And thanks for watching this show. Until our next show, Maranatha.
Yep.
Well, we'll keep you there until we shut everything down.
Yep.
You just keep him company.
Yep. Wasn't this show fascinating?
Yeah.
Wasn't it fascinating?
What are these pedals?